Hi everyone. Since Saturday, which is the day that I'm uploading this video, is National Scrapbooking Day, I'm going to actually share my sketch with you on Saturday instead of Friday, but it's still Friday sketch. So we're going to be doing the square one over here on the right hand side. It's the Mojo Mondays number 445. And I already have everything kind of pre-cut. I'm going to show you here. This is our focal piece, which I want to say I did at like 2.5 by 3. And it's going to go across this band that's going to go in the middle of the card, just like you saw. Now, for me, I'm in the process of trying to figuring out if my sentiment is going to actually go vertical or if it's going to go sideways. And I believe in the end I wind up going sideways because it's the way the sentiment that I wanted to use on the front of the card fit the best. So I'm just going to pull that to the side and then move the cutting tool there. And I'm going to pull everything over and start to attach. I'm using My Mind's Eye paper pad. It's one of my favorites. And I'm just taping it up with some mono adhesive. And we're just going to attach it. The white piece that I'm attaching it to is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then the decorative paper, or the what I call pretty paper, is measuring at 4 by 5 1/4. So you get a nice, small border around the entire thing. And instead of putting it right in the center, I just dropped mine down just a little bit, so I would have more room for how I want to put the focal piece and my sentiment. So real quick, I'm grabbing my pages because I got to get the stamp set together that I plan on stamping on here. And I'm just really, the main thing with sketches is that I like to lay it out and continue to lay it out as I go. Only because I want to make sure I got everything laying correctly. And once I get my stamp, which is right here, I got it on my block, I move everything to the side. I get my stamping pad that I use to, with my, clear stamps, which you should use with your clear stamps, unless you have a really good, even, and solid, place where you're stamping, where you can get good coverage or good pressure down on it. When you're sitting, sometimes you don't press good enough, and that's why when you lift up the stamp, it doesn't look like you have a clean image. So if you have clear stamps and that's what you're trying to go for and you're sitting at your table, I suggest getting the pad of some sort, so that way you have something to give you that little bit of give. And we're just stamping this image here. And this one is actually from the Stamp of Approval box that they just had. It's such a pretty stamp. I think I'm going to be using this like forever. And I was toying with coloring it, not coloring it. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I left it alone for now. And I'm just inking up my sentiment. And the sentiment is, God could not be everywhere, so he created mothers. And then on the inside, I'm going to put Happy Mother's Day. So once I get that stamped, then I want to get everything attached. So the focal image, the flower, paisley, pretty thing right there, we're going to attach that to the brown paper. That was its mat. I'm just being very careful with it, only because we use the VersaFine Black Onyx ink, and it sits on top of the paper for a little bit. it doesn't soak in right away. So you have more of a risk of it smearing if you brush it or, you know, rub your hand against it and it's not dry. So I'm trying to just be delicate with it so that way nothing gets messed up. Alright, so, and then I wanted to make sure the center was down, and so I just turned it over so that way I can give it a good rub. Okay, so now that that's attached, I'm going to do the same thing with the sentiment, just putting some tape down. And then attaching it to our scallop oval piece. And then we're going to bring everything over and start to put it all together. I'm using a yellow A2 size card. And the A2 size, in case you don't know, the A2 size is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And we're just attaching that. And then once we get that attached, I'm going to do the same thing with the focal piece there. I'm just going to put some tape on the back of that. When it comes to the sentiment, I'm actually going to have like, you know, when you get those big rolls of foam tape and as you go and go and go, you get down to the very end. Well, I save those and put them into like my quick grab drawer, if you want to call it that, where I could just grab a quick piece of foam tape just to, you know, bump something up. And that way the sentiment has a little bit of height. So I'm just going to lay it where I want it to go. And that's probably another thing, I know I've said it before, that I really love about these sketches, is that they show you what they want you to use, and you can have a creative license. As long as you put images in a similar place, it's going to still match up to what was there. You know, we changed one element. Instead of it going vertical, we turned it horizontal, and it's still a very nice card, you know. So once I get the tape down, I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off. And then we're going to place down the sentiment. And I really wasn't sure. I thought that was maybe too high, so I brought it down some. And then I like that better, because at least it was more in the general area that it was on the sketch. And then I was thinking on this one, I'll probably wind up putting some bling and maybe even doing some coloring once this is dried some, so that way I have less chances of the ink spreading. Alright, so now that we're almost done, I'm going to lay it here side by side so you can see. And you'll see the finished product of the coloring in and the bling when we go through the photos at the very end. Alright, thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you have a great National Scrapbooking Day. Enjoy it, craft, and I will see you guys with our next video. Make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button, and please share share with your different social medias. Let people know I'm here, and I'm so excited that we're growing and we're getting closer and closer to our first giveaway. All right, you guys, you have a great weekend.